Hello. So for those who are new here, I'm Jasmine. I go by Jassy, creator and founder of Onya'e Naturals. I make concrete candles in vessels, and I am a Portland local, and I'm in a number of shops. And this YouTube studio vlog is really about behind the scenes, showing my process and what it's like to work full-time and own a small business that's growing. And in this video, we're going to cover quite a lot about wholesale and consignment and why I like it. Not too many cons. We're also going to go over a wholesale order that I'm currently working on. There will be a segment where I'm just working. Join me and read the captions and hang out. And I get to share my label process and box building, candle making, all that good stuff. So sit back and relax, and I hope this helps. And after you watch the video, if you have any questions of something I did not cover, please ask in the comments, and I'll see you back here shortly. Today's video, I'm really excited because I get to talk about wholesale with you all and consignment and what I love about it. Not too many cons, if I'm being honest, and I'm working on an order that's due mid-February, so you get to see that process and how I do it. And at the moment, I'm going to prep my wooden wicks. The wax is melting in the 2 Alto warmer. Highly recommend that warmer. I love them. And then while the wax melts into 185 degrees, I'm gonna wait another 30 minutes and then make candles. But I figure I just yap a bit and tell you about my experience. So first, let's put these on the wick stickers. This one's already done, so that's nice. At least let me start by talking about how I got this particular order. I'm getting into 2 new shops this first quarter, so this year so far. I'm really excited. And this was planned in December. I just haven't had time to fully talk about it until now. And I already finished the first new store. It's gonna be Halen Clothing in Astoria. Really cute spot. Christine and I met the founder at Portland Bazaar. So I'm glad she got to see behind the scenes in my YouTube so she understands what goes into it. And that's really nice when the store owner sees oh, okay, this is how you do it. This is how long it takes, or this is how much effort you put into it, and they get to just see the back end, and I love that behind the scenes. And the next store I'm getting into, which this is for, is the Portland Nursery, and they have 2 locations in Portland. I didn't know that, and I'm doing both of those stores, and I'm really excited. While I wick these, I'm gonna talk about how I got into that. I have to be honest that this particular store I did not approach, so I did a market before Portland's Bazaar. And I filmed that too a few videos back, right before the bazaar video. And there was another vendor, and her and I had a good rapport. And I brought some of her flowers, which are absolutely stunning, and I used them at the bazaar. But anyway, I guess I didn't realize this, works or connects with the Portland Nursery folks. And she told them about me, and then they reached out to me. And I think that's really cool because word of mouth works both ways, especially for business. They reached out, I emailed them back, and then after enough back and forth email, their wholesale, they talk about the prices, and we talked about my prices, blah, 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 the timing. And after emailing back and forth, I sent them a really nice response in my prices and how that works and wholesale and all that good stuff. My schedule, when I can have it done, when do they need it done by. It's official, so I'm gonna be in their store and I'm really excited. That was really smooth sailing. That was very easy to just be yes. But before, I was just rushing to say yes. I asked questions. I was like, when do you need it by? How many do you want? These are the blends I make. I make the jars too, right? I made sure I wasn't so thirsty, I wanted to educate them in my process. Long story short, I'm gonna get into their store. When it comes to approaching these stores, the one I did approach, which is my biggest socket, Tender Loving Empire, they made a post on Instagram, and I know I mentioned this videos ago, but if you're new here, I'm gonna just repeat it a little bit more here. They made a post on Instagram near the holidays, and they were like, we're looking for new makers for the holiday season, reach out, whatever. A really cute poster. I reached out in an email. I shared my website, my process, my photos, a little bit about me, all this stuff. And we talk to each other back and forth. And over a year later, I'm still in there, and I'm very happy. I was not nervous for reaching out. I'm pretty proud of myself that I had a really nice worded email, which I will share like what I say. And sorry, there's dust in here. I was very honest about the scheduling. I was like, hey, this can take some time. You know, is that okay with you guys? Worried that that wouldn't be. It totally is. I have a format of what I say to small businesses all the time. Is very consistent. And the only thing that changes is like this, who the store is that I'm talking to, and just a couple of details. But I recommend have a Google Doc saved, a note saved, something so that you can constantly reference and not feel stressed when a new store reaches out to you. You know, like have your quick intro, have what it is you do, have your photos, and have your links, and have your prices, and then the rest comes easy. So it was very easy for me to reach out and be like, yo, I saw this post. Can I be in your store? It's funny because I forgot they had multiple locations. So I was just thinking one spot, and I'm all like, I'll do 20. But they were like, actually, we're thinking this. And the first order was like over 100. And I was like, oh my God, this is happening. And then I knew, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I can do it. And I'm not afraid of this. I got this. And then sure enough, each order kept getting bigger and bigger. And my biggest one was 292. And that means double, because remember, I make the jars. So I'm making 292 jars, 292 candles. So I feel reaching out and approaching it comes easy because I am an extrovert. I'm a people person. So being told no, I'm like, okay, that's all right. I'm okay with that. But you do have to just go for it. It's so cheesy, but you have nothing to lose. If a store says no, there are hundreds of other stores you can get into. And that just helps build my confidence. And I do believe in my product, and I do believe my stuff will look good in most stores. So I don't have this fear. It's really, to me, what comes down to it is timing, and can I do it in this time frame? I always communicate my needs. I always communicate the process and how long this takes. And that helps them, the client, because they know upfront. So they're not like worried or feeling like, you know, I can't do it. I don't create doubt. When it comes to my full-time job, I do not immediately start off the bat with that. I'm never like, oh, and I have a full-time job. Like, I don't need to say that. All they need to know is, am I going to have this done when I say I will? And the only time it does come up if it's like a tight window, right? And they're like, could you have it done earlier? And I could be like, you know, because of this schedule, no. But it has not hindered me, and I don't believe, you know, working full-time should hinder you. If you're a small business owner, I do believe you can do both as long as you like. There's no pressure, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, reach out through email, or if you want to go in person, bring like a sample or a full-on product on how you would sell it to them. Make sure you connect with a store manager maybe, or owner. I feel like getting it straight to their hands go further. I've definitely had instances where I went to a store, gave it to a little clerk who is there like a couple of times a week. She did not care, and I don't believe it ever got to the top. So I recommend just straight to the manager or the owner, in my experience, unless you know the clerk and she's friends with the owner or best friends or something. But I just feel giving it straight to the source is more wise. Okay, so I put the wooden wicks in here. That's all done. And at the moment, I am waiting for my wax to heat up. But I always do about 10 pounds worth or more. And probably gonna do a couple of rounds because it's quite a lot. I'm gonna go check my wax. All right, so I want to share how I put my boxes together. I have the custom box, and that's these. And for the big standard, in the minis, if I like have enough, these are to make sure the concrete candle doesn't like fall through. We don't want that. You know, we want the customer to be able to pick up the box and everything's sturdy. And so I kind of just do it like this, get the box, and not everyone is like this, just the brand I use. And just put it in like that, super easy. And it's just super sturdy. And I'm just gonna put these labels on it now because I only need to do this last bit. And then like maybe 7 more after. Okay, so pretty easy. Get this. And for when I do wholesale, there are times when I do ask for help for friends and I pay them. But for now, for this small order, I'm able to do it myself. Like, it's the weekend. I don't need too much help for 30 candles. And jam it in there. And that's how it looks. See? But when I do like the super big order, like 100, 200, yeah, I do ask for help for that. I make sure to delegate tasks because it's, you know, boxing 30 boxes is one thing. Boxing over 200 is another. And there are times when I know when to ask for help. But if I do have an extra day in my schedule, I can do it pretty quickly. And then no one has to like come over and deal with that. All right, let's box these. So one of the things that help me stay organized when it comes to packaging my candles or my boxes really are my labels. So I use custom boxes and I use custom labels for those boxes, both craft or my custom green ones that I've shown before. And a way to stay organized is getting a binder. And I have this binder. It's a lot. It's a biggie. And it keeps me organized. I used to do rolls and I still have a container of roll labels because I don't have like the pegboard yet. But having them in a binder and clear sheets help because then you know how much you need for inventory, whether you keep track of that on the computer or handwritten, whatever. I love seeing what I have and seeing how low I am. And it's helped me so many times and helped me not panic so much, especially during the holidays. So I just want to share with you my binder of labels. And this is how I stay organized. Okay, so here's my binder. Blood orange, herb garden, iris and fig, matcha oats, palo santo, which I'm gonna get new ones of these because it should say palo santo and sandalwood, tomato garden, sunlit clay, and as you see, I need more sunlit clay. Look at that. Orange blossom and honey, green tea and almond. And these are for my glass candles. I do glass minis, or tinies actually. And these are for boxes. These are older ones. But I keep the older ones because I don't want it to go to waste and I can find ways to use them. These are my little ones for my glass. I think they're super pretty. Look at that. I love that. I personally love sheets. I think it's just flexible and it fits my style organizing. And then for my craft boxes for when I do online orders, because I save my custom boxes for stores, because you know it's a store. These are the white ones. Sometimes I do color. And these are online labels I've used in the past. And they all stay here. I keep these so I can remember the size I use. It is very easy to forget. I swear the minute I get rid of this, I will forget the size. No. And more of the older ones. So all of these are just old ones. These are blank. I keep these. I can print these at home. Online Labels has this really cool feature where when you already purchase the paper, all you got to do is print it at home. And I love that. It saves a lot of money. And yeah, so, and then these are blank. Then I have this back pocket where, hope you can see that because the light, not fancy, but it says trim the wick. So I made these. It's after each burn, be sure to trim the wick. That's what this says. And it has my logo on it because people do not remember to trim the wick. I wish people do. Your candle will burn better if you do. So these are my labels. This is my system. I love it. It works really well for me. Having it all here. Like, look at that. All close knit and together. I recommend it. Do sheets. And if you prefer rolls, that's okay too. But sheets, it just works. And then we're gonna label the boxes. So I have my laptop here because I want to share the language I use when I talk to clients. And this I have copied and saved so that I can always like change little details versus having to start over each time. And what I mention, I'm going to have on the screen as well. So for instance, just get right into it. I personally create the concrete vessels and hand pour the soy candles myself. My products are currently carried by several wonderful local shops, including Adapt Coffee Shop, Tender Loving Empire, Alchemy, and Best Friend Juice Bar and Cafe. And I collaborate with Hypnos Coffee. So right off the bat, I'm credible. I'm proving that. I am in more than one store. I do collabs. I'm serious. So thank you for reaching out. And also I'm in this store. Like I'm always trying to like immediately let them know like, yeah, I'm a good contender. I think it's worth looking into. You can review my process in detail here. And on my website, there's a page called The Process where I have gorgeous images of my vessels, but I also explain how it works because I always want to educate a potential client that I don't just make candles, I make the jars. Till this day, people do not know that. And I've tried to let folks know, like, I make the jars too. I may not show it on here a lot just because of copycats and I'm tired of that, but I make the jars. So they already know I'm in multiple shops and now they know how I do this. And then I say to move forward, I have a few quick questions to help determine the best way to start. See how I'm not like, yes, I want to be in your store. No, I want to be, but I want to communicate. I want to get a feel, and I also want to make sure we vibe well. That's totally fine. One, could you let me know if Portland Nursery typically buys inventory up front, wholesale, or operates on a consignment basis? So I ask this because I don't want to assume. I'm in both wholesale and consignments. Everyone is different. I prefer wholesale because a wholesale, you get paid up front. Consignment, you get paid when multiple customers buy your products and then the store sends a check to you. Obviously the pro is getting paid up front because you just put so much time and effort into this product, but every store is different and that's okay. And it's okay to ask that. Two, since you're thinking of spring, I think that's perfect. What were you aiming to launch for? When were you aiming to launch for? So this is when I say March, April, May. Three, I usually like to start with smaller introductory orders, 20 units or fewer, to ensure quality and timely pickup/delivery as we scale up together. I don't have a rigid minimum requirement, but this helps ensure a smooth launch. Beautiful. So in other words, I just said we could start off with 20, see how you like it, see how customers like it, and that way if it's just 20, it's not like thousands and no one brought it. But after this, we ended up doing like 37, and that's okay. I mentioned that I don't have a rigid minimum. I don't. I'm always in like the same balance. I'm okay with that. That works for me. If you have a rigid minimum, say that. If you want to start with 10, say that. Everyone is different. He responded. Then in my next email, nice to hear back from you. I can't wait to get started on these. I am happy to move forward. Confirmed the logistics. And that's when I confirm wholesale. I can offer the amount of pieces mid-February, so we confirmed a date. I appreciate you offering BOOP for local artists, and that term works for me because they do either a net 30 or net 14. I said I do need to make you aware of recent update to my retail wholesale pricing. My wholesale prices are below. So last year was the last year of those prices. I raised my prices. And to be honest, I haven't in a while. With tariffs going on, ingredients, blends, wooden wicks, all that stuff raising, I needed to raise my prices. And I didn't want him to think because he reached out in December, be shocked when I sent him prices he may not have seen. So I wanted to communicate that, and I was like being honest with my clients. And it's not dramatically big. Like it's not like I jumped up $15, but I have this gorgeous chart and it says product, previous retail price, updated retail price, wholesale price, and it's beautiful. Then I immediately segue into blends to select from, some new for 2026. So I mentioned go-to blends that I make and a couple of new ones, and I attached a PDF blends, and then I wrote also, are you interested in the minis or the standard? So I should have asked that sooner, but again, we're still talking and they're interested in the standard. So that's kind of like how I roll, and it's very nicely written. I keep that saved and always reference it, and yeah, I love it. It's just, it's really fun in emails, I feel, because you could just, you know, do your writing skills, communicate, share your photos, your website, and now I'm going to be in their shop. So that's how I write, and I hope that helps you and that you can reference it. You know, it's not deep, but it helps to have like a little start. I remember I used to be so afraid to like email back in the day when I was new, but as years gone on, it's just something that comes natural to me now. So I get the hesitation, I get if there's fear, but have like a template and yeah, you'll be good. With delivery, pickup, or shipping, I work from home, but there are stores I'm able to drive to because I do live in Portland, and there are some places I'm not able to drive to, especially with my schedule. And some shops have picked up from me or will meet at a coffee shop. Another place I'll just drive to. So for 1011 Empire, like the mini concrete order, I'm okay to drive downtown with my wagon. It's really funny. I love walking down the street with my wagon of products. And then I drop the candles off and I label each box very clearly. You know, it has like the box is neat, it has the label of like the store code and the products. And I think it's really good to communicate that early on because shipping concrete candles is very heavy, like heavy. I do not enjoy shipping like 50 or more concrete candles. If I have to, I will, but it's expensive for the client and myself. So I think we both prefer pickup or drop off, and that's okay. But communicate that. The only time I've shipped minis is to one of my stockets. I'm further north at Portland. This particular client is further south. So yes, it's still Portland, but it's a drive. It's out of my way. And if I feel like I don't have time to literally go over there, I'll ship it. And these are minis, so it's no problem. But communicate that early. I prefer a pickup or delivery. I prefer a pickup or drop off. That totally works with me and my clients. So communicate that early on. I had a holiday order and it was 50 concrete candles, and that particular client came and picked it up. We had a rapport, we have mutuals, so I didn't feel like it was a complete stranger. Like, you know, I looked him up in Google, and that was good. So try that, communicate it early. Okay, there's only one blood orange left, so it's good I dropped off some minis. So I realized we didn't talk too much on consignment specifically, just a little bit. Consignment is where you do not get paid up front. You get paid after a number of customers buy your products in that store, and then you get a check based off the schedule you and the retailer already discussed. I am in consignment along with wholesale. I know they're going to sell my stuff, so I'm not worried. I'm not in the biggest rush because I trust them. I'm in over 6 of their stores, so I know we have a consistent good rapport, and I know I'm going to get checks in the mail. And I know they do their best to promote. They're not just having my stuff sit on the shelf. I've been in stores like that. Doesn't work for me. If you're new, start off with consignment. That's okay. But if you prefer wholesale and getting paid up front, that's okay too. I think it's best to communicate your needs early. I like punctuality. Of course, I like my money up front. I just spend hours and days and so much hard labor making the jars and the candles on top of that. I communicate those needs. But if you really, really want to get in a store, they don't offer wholesale, but they do consignment, but you really want to get into it, don't let that stop you. It will open door to so many blessings. Like, I am in a number of stores because I just went for it. Don't block your blessings. Go for it. Try it out. And I personally like getting checks in the mail. I love consignment. I have no problem because I have the materials I need. I know how much I need to make, and I know when I'll get it done. I know I can get it done. So I'm not feeling too stressed. So think about your needs. Think about what's best for you. I don't talk about money here. I've mentioned that hundreds of times. I'm sorry, it's a boundary. But I promise if you Google wholesale pricing, wholesale consignment, Shopify comes up with great guides and knowledge. And so many information is out there on the internet. You can Google anything. And if you're gonna run a business, I highly encourage knowing things for yourself. You should also have your pricing down and then look for advice and tidbits and inspiration. I love consignment. I think it's worth it. I think if you want to get your foot into the door, it's okay to start off with that. See what it's like to be in a store. See what it's like checking in on that store. How are clients reacting to your product? Do they like it? Are retailers doing their best to promote it? There's a lot of things like that you want to consider, but I don't think you should block your blessings just because it wasn't wholesale this first time around. There's a lot of shops out there, so just go for it. That was pretty great. That was a good work session. That is how I work on my wholesale consignment orders. And right now these are solidifying, and I'm going to trim the wick tomorrow and heat the tops like later this week. These are not due until mid-February, so I have time. I'm not rushed, but I'm just happy to show my process and chat wholesale and consignment. And tomorrow I will be making the black tea geranium candle. So yeah, we're doing pretty good. I'm ahead of schedule. I love like just having enough hours in the day on my weekend to just work on my candles. It's delightful. So when I first trim, I make sure to leave a little bit up, because then later when I heat the tops and put the dust cover on, if it's too high, I'll like do one more trim. But I always do this just to start as a base, because you never want to cut too low too soon. So I always like go back and double check. But this is so gorgeous. Yeah, love it. So this is a little bit too high, and then later I'll go and trim it a bit. Okay, so that was me trimming the wick, and now that that's done, I am going to let these cure just a bit more, and then I'll heat the tops, if not later today, then tomorrow. And then I'm going to a friend's birthday, spend some time editing and just relaxing, and then I'll start doing admin work and complete this order. Again, it's due mid-February, so I'm not stressed. I'm not like in a rush. I like to get things done ahead of time if I'm able to. And then I am hiring someone on to help me with production. So next month, a really good friend of mine who I trust, because you can't be asking anyone on the internet, it gets a little risky. She's gonna come over, I'm gonna send her a contract and a how-to, and she's gonna help me make vessels, which is gonna speed up so much of my time and really help me finish orders a bit faster. For my biggest stockit with the 6 locations, it's a high demand, and I want to make sure I don't take as long this time. So I'm really excited about that, and I'll talk more about that process later and what it was like, asking for help. It's really hard for me to delegate tasks because I want to do everything, but in reality, with my full-time job and my social life, In this business, I just cannot wear all the hats all the time. So I'm learning to ask for help. My candle is lit really well. So gorgeous. Look at that. And to give you an idea, this is how it burns. See, I don't trim too much. When I first made this, it smells amazing. And when I blow it out, I am going to, again, trim it before I light it. I have these really cute stickers that's with my logo, and it says, after each burn, remember to trim the wick. And I showed that, I think, earlier in this clip. And I want to start adding that more on my packages because people need to trim the wick properly. Like, you gotta know how to handle a candle, you know? Anyway, so this was fun. Thanks for watching. And the next video, more wholesale, more accounts, more orders, more sealing, more packaging, making candles. So I'm gonna go and going to a friend's birthday, and then I'm gonna relax, spend some time editing, play with the pets, do some exercise. Yeah, I gotta do some exercise, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.